Coruscant is the heartland of the Republic, a world that held not only its governing structure, but also majority of its economic backbone. However, as we see towards the end of the Clone Wars, General Grievous, at Palpatine's command, launched an attack on the world that would throw the Republic military into red alert to defend its capital. But how was this possible, and why did the Separatists attack Coruscant? As a quick announcement before we start, I do have a rethink ready on if the Separatists actually conquered Coruscant full out, and if this video manages to get 400 likes in 24 hours, I will get that out tomorrow afternoon. So please do remember to hit the like button, as it is really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. But anyway, let's get into the video. Now, the obvious answer to this question is that Sidious wanted to orchestrate his kidnapping to bring his soon-to-be apprentice Anakin back to him on Coruscant. And what Sidious wants, Sidious gets. However, it was actually something that the Separatists were behind, and we want to focus on that. Now, Coruscant on paper was actually very well defended, bolstering its own defense fleet, having its own legion of clones, and the Jedi were headquartered there. As well as this, it had numerous other defense platforms in place. However, in reality, it was actually pretty weak. Firstly, the Coruscant defense fleet was not battle-hardened. It had nearly spent the entirety of the war outside of any real conflict. In fact, when you look at this attack, the fleet only actually got into attack formation after the Chancellor had been kidnapped and taken back to the Invisible Hand, which shows that they were not particularly ready or trained to encounter this level of hostility. Not only this, but as we discussed, the Coruscant Guard were designed more as peacekeepers and a police force than soldiers, meaning that they had little experience in full-scale battles. And finally, we have the Jedi based at the Temple. Now, majority of the Knights and Masters were out fighting around the galaxy in the war, with only a few high-ranking members stationed there, and the rest of them were either Padawans or injured Jedi that had come back to recuperate. For this reason, even in the attack, the Jedi's ability to stop the Separatist onslaught was limited. If they dispatched all of their fighters to stop the Separatists, it would have left the temple relatively undefended, meaning all of the Padawans and injured Jedi and the Jedi's library were at risk of a Separatist attack, and this was just unacceptable. Leaving the Jedi Temple this exposed could basically destroy the next generation of Jedi and majority of their resources. So ultimately, the world itself was not actually very secure, it just seemed it. Now, as for the Separatists, this offered a unique opportunity. An attack on Coruscant would give them a huge propaganda victory, whilst crushing the enemy's morale. Similarly to the Blitz in England during World War II, bringing the war to people's doorstep generally has an adverse effect on the war effort, meaning that it would lose support from the people. Now, as for kidnapping Palpatine, that was also a very astute move. Throughout the war, Palpatine had been the backbone of the Republic. He'd been given so many emergency powers that he was basically able to run the Republic autonomously. Without him, someone else would have to take his place, and that would take time. And as we know, the Republic loves its bureaucracy. With the Separatists in possession of Palpatine, the Republic feared that it would not last long. The CIS would essentially subject him to a sham trial, or this was their fear anyway, in which the Separatists would broadcast across the entirety of the galaxy, where they would make unruly and unbacked claims against him without any form of defense, finding him guilty, and then he would be executed. Even if it's a sham trial, it's still going to look very bad for the Republic, and it would allow the Separatists to make the Republic appear to be the villains in the war, and win over far more support to their own side. Ultimately, Palpatine was the most powerful individual in the Republic, and without him, and with him then being a tool used by CIS propaganda, the Republic would be screwed, more or less. To conclude, the Republic was clearly not prepared for an attack on the capital, and it's clear the Separatists had everything to gain from taking it. But what do you guys think? Why was Coruscant so important to the CIS, and why was it so poorly defended? And how should the Republic have defended Coruscant? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed. Please don't forget to drop a like for me to release that rethink tomorrow, and don't forget to subscribe for more content, as it's really appreciated and it helps the channel grow. Also, don't forget to tick the bell and follow me on Twitter at The Lore Guy for regular updates. But most importantly, thank you so much for watching, I hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see you next time.